Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Moon.
Hello and welcome to your Aquarius Full Moon Great Mother Speaks reading. This full moon is in the nakshatra of Dhanista. It is a very happy-go-lucky energy, people that are born in it, and actually it's the fewest people of record who are born in this nakshatra than of any other. It is equidistance between Capricorn and Aquarius in the Jyotish astrology, which is what we use here on Great Mother Speaks. She calls it the soul astrology. This is the astrology that really does pace this life with the soul most accurately because it is cosmological. We do use Western astrology in terms of understanding our egoic relationship to the soul. So our emotional state is really important in terms of looking at our Western astrology. Here we deal with mama drama trauma, which is a condition in which the mother projects unhealed issues of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. And so in order to heal mama drama trauma, we have to tap into our intuitive wisdom, which is the fundamental basis of lunar astrology when it is activated as a tool to be used for healing, which is why we use the Jyotish astrology and your Jyotish moon sign, which you can find in the calculator below. Of course, use whichever moon sign most resonates with you at this time. Detachment is all about an energy of sociability, and following up the new moon reading in Cancer, you may want to check on what your new moon wishes were. I have found with individuals who come for readings how incredible using the follow-up full moon reading within the context of what Great Mother was saying during the new moon gives a very enlightened perspective on how to work with the lunar energies, because with the personal readings, we actually look at your unique cosmic calculus, your moon sign. So even if your moon sign is Aquarius, not all of you have this full moon as your full moon at this particular time. Some of you will have it at other times during the year based on the degree of the moon in which you were born. For example, you may be born at 5 degrees Aquarius, and that's more new moon energy. Full moon energy is 15, 16 degrees, etc., etc. So I want to encourage you to be more familiar with your degrees of your moon sign, because the Lunar New Year for you and the midpoint of your year is going to vary quite a bit with these general readings, as well as configurations, aspects, and planetary placements in your birth chart. So for that, go to greatmotherspeaks.info for a personal reading. I want to let you know that because it is going to also change the nakshatra of your moon sign. And so this, generally speaking, at this time, the moon is in the nakshatra of Dhanista, but you may be in another nakshatra in which you were born. There are an average of 2.5 nakshatras per sign. So there's a toss-up there energetically, but we'll do our best here. This energy overall, generally for all of us speaking here, is a full moon energy of lightheartedness. It's a lightheartedness that is very communicative. It's very socially oriented, highly creative. It's honest. Aquarian energy is very honest, very direct, can be emotionally detached, which in many cases for mama drama trauma is a good thing, because our yellow brick road is a healing road of loving detachment from the drama, the trauma, and in some cases, the mama, if that is necessary. And so this kind of mental acuity comes from a sense of a capability to maneuver one's mental space that's made available through the alchemy of Aquarian energy. in this constellation. It is very learned, particularly through its social proclivities, through friends. It really loves to interact with people and create associations with individuals in order to gain its knowledge, in order to really enjoy life. That's an important part of gaining wisdom. And the knowledge is so important in order to be able to decode macro patterns, the macro patterns of life. They're very good architects. They're very good engineers, and they can look at the whole and break it down into detail. And this all seems to come about over a drink after work. They tend to learn quite well in study groups in school. Even their romantic life is centered around social engagement. And so if you're dating someone like this, or you are like this yourself, it may be difficult for you to understand the attachment that people have romantically in relationships that dictates a very singular one-on-one relationship, when in fact love for you is an augmented experience with others. So it's very intuitive at the same time with regard to the unique genius of others, and it likes to tap into that as well as the genius within oneself. So we're talking about the transition from Capricorn energy, which is all about that inner silence and diligent focus and manifesting, to this equidistance to Aquarian energy that's about outer service. And so bringing that inner wisdom, that inner genius, that macro vision into the world through the detailed analysis and connecting with others to manifest that outer service. And so coming through the eclipses and coming through all that we have been experiencing this year with the retrogrades, we now have Jupiter direct as of the 11th of this month. Yes! And so that is a very central theme of this full moon reading. Jupiter is direct again in the sign of Scorpio in the Vedic. So we're going to look at that in each sign as we look at the illumination that this Aquarius full moon in Detachment has for you. Hello, Scorpio moon sign people. This Aquarius full moon is fourth house energy for you. It is all about really kind of focusing on what makes you feel mothered. Really what makes you feel good as you are being mothered. What is the juiciness of maternal affection and attention for you in your life at this particular time. And it may be something that you are actually paying a lot of attention to at this time, consciously or unconsciously. Of course, we are speaking to the unconscious realm with Great Mother Speaks Oracle readings. And in your center position is the Hecate Crossroads card. It is the position of the soul work that is emerging for this full moon. Hecate is crescent moon, throat chakra energy. It's the scene in The Wizard of Oz when the Wicked Witch is shocked when she tries to remove the ruby red slippers from Dorothy's feet. And if you are familiar with the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, you know that the ruby red slippers symbolize our birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole, given to us by Great Mother, symbolized by Glinda, the Good Witch. And we're told to never, ever take them off. We're told to never let go of our birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. And this is the soul work that this full moon is illuminating for you at this particular time, to not give up that birthright, because you are so in touch with what you need to feel mothered. And you need that. You need that health. You need that happiness. You need that wholeness. And so why would you give it up? Well, in this scene, Dorothy tries to negotiate with the witch who is demanding the shoes by saying, okay, look, take the shoes, but give me Toto. because she's threatening to kill Toto, who symbolizes our intuition. So this full moon, the soul is wanting to do the work of helping you to remember the importance of your intuition. Your moon yoga is you download like a Libra. You feel and you intuit your emotions like a Scorpio very deeply. But you process the information you receive through your downloads like a Sagittarius. And so we have here throat chakra energy, which is really indicating a real strong mercurial influence here about the power of the spoken word. And so maybe in some of the ways that you are expressing yourself, you may be giving up your health, ordering at a restaurant, saying something's okay in terms of a toxic behavior when in actuality you need that boundary to keep your Toto, to keep your intuition. So boundaries are all about protecting our divinity, not that it needs to be protected in reality, capital R, but in our small r reality of MDT, it feels really real. It feels like a capital R, the abandonment and abuse of the mother. And so it intensifies this lack of feeling loved, this lack of love, which is what divinity identity is about. It's about embracing the reality that we are dearly loved children of the great Mother, Father, God, who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. And when we forget that, as Dorothy has in the scene, we're willing to sell out our birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole, to hold on to our intuition. We know that we need our intuition to heal, but we don't realize that we can have both. And so our speaking betrays us. Your soul wants to do work around that this full moon, because the full moon card of Brigide is what is bringing this up. And then you have another throat chakra here. So we want to pay attention to, if it's not your spoken word that is betraying you, Scorpio moon sign people, it may be simply your higher will needs to really be your focus at this time, because the throat chakra is heart above energy that has to do with the higher will, higher than the gut chakra will, the ego will. This is the will of the soul. And Brigide is the full moon selfhood card. When Dorothy takes the broom from the castle guards, the broom symbolizes our power, taking our power back from MDT, Oz, Great Father energy, lays down the law, and that we have to take our own power back. The healing of MDT is not given to us in the sense that it just drops from the sky. It already exists, but we have to go the journey to realize it, just like Dorothy. So that's what's bringing up this need to align with this higher will, which is that not only do you have the birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole, that will never be taken away from you, even if you try to give it away. You can give it away in your mind, but in reality, capital R, it never can be given away. The witch was shocked. She couldn't take them. But you also have a divine identity, which is part and parcel of your intuition, that you have this identity of being a dearly loved child of the great Mother, Father, God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. This is what Toto symbolizes. He never leaves Dorothy alone. He never judges her and throughout her journey. He dearly loves her. This is the soul coming through this Aquarius full moon, recognizing the need for you to take your power back from MDT at this time, particularly this year as Jupiter is in your first lunar house. This stationing direct that is occurring now is really bringing a lot of clarity to health issues, money issues in your life, and that your life is running so much smoother now that you are focusing on enjoying your life more, aligning with that higher will of living a life beyond MDT, because this Aquarius moon is in your fourth house. It is illuminating work that you have been doing around MDT. In your shadow position, you may not realize this, however, because Moses is here saying that you may not realize you've been learning to live the law, which is that ego soul alignment, as above, so below. This is gut chakra, that lower will. And first quarter moon is all about facing the challenges. So in your shadow position, you may not realize that this is what has been going on, but it is. This is what has been happening. And this full moon is bringing all of this to illumination with Mercury and Venus in your ninth house. Now, with all of this mercurial energy, Mercury rules the throat chakra with Brigitte, the full moon throat chakra card, and Hecate, the crescent moon throat chakra card. We have this mercurial energy in Cancer right now in your ninth house. Again, this maternal higher wisdom that you're having, this higher sense of what that means for you now, and realizing the limitations your mother has to fulfill that. And this inspiring you to redouble your own efforts to recognize that your spiritual independence lies in your commitment to connect with that maternal truth through the guidance of your intuition and Great Mother. Because in your desire position is Pele, the awakening gut chakra crescent moon card. Gut chakra is ruled by Mars, and Mars rules Scorpio. And so in your shadow, you have this Martian energy, excuse me, that you're not aware that you have been learning to live the law. You may be aware that you're learning to live the law, ego soul alignment, with regard to taking your power back. But if you are aware of that, you might not be aware that you're being watched. You're being seen for the work that you're doing. There's a sense of and being seen with Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck isn't always in the material world. You know, the spirit world, your angels, your guides, your ancestors recognizing you. And some of you actually, as a result, materializing opportunities to really fulfill your soul potential. Ninth house has a lot to do with your wisdom, your internal wisdom. And this speaks to that as well. You want to be able to use your sense of spiritual independence, of connecting to the mother of all mothers in a way that honors you, that empowers you, and empowers others. And what's supporting you to do that is integrity. The integrity card is a balsamic moon card, which is about that download from that Libra energy, those scales, balancing what you know, balancing your pleasure with the practical aspects of life, which have to do with your daily boundaries that you maintain in order to experience your divinity. All of this feeds into this heart chakra energy of integrity. And your truth, as long as you tell yourself the truth about what you're feeling with love, about what you're experiencing with love, you will be empowered to heal and help yourself and others. It's already happening. It's already happening. Because your present state of ego soul alignment is Kuan Yin, the self-compassion card. You are planting those seeds with this crescent moon in your heart to be more compassionate with yourself and to others. That Venus in Cancer in your 9th house, you absolutely at this time are feeling that. And you're very desirous of this empowerment and this ease that will allow you to sustain your birthright as how you live your life. That will be a light to your divinity in the world. Some of you may be having a lot of challenges with this, though, because you're still learning how to speak kindly and compassionately to yourself. But as long, again, as you tell yourself the truth about you still learning how to do this, and you're compassionate with yourself in the process, and you just speak to yourself like you're speaking to your inner child, we'll do better next time, that kind of thing, you will. You will. And you won't lose ground from your divinity. And your MDT triggers don't become tailspins back into the shame, blame, and guilt of it. If you want to know more, go to mamadramatrauma.info, and you can get some more information as well as join some groups for support. Why your soul wants to do this is that we have Pachamama, the waning gibbous root chakra moon card. This root chakra card is about pulling up roots and going where you can be at peace, where you won't experience the abandonment and abuse of MDT. This Earth Mother card is that earthing that you do when you take your shoes off and you just stand in the grass and breathe deeply from the soles of your feet up, kind of inhalation. Reminding you that you are supported, that you are not alone. There's so many ways to be reminded of that. There's so many variant energies of Great Mother. It's infinite. We just need to tap into it. And this is why your soul wants to do this work, because there may still be this struggle about the worthiness of having both your intuition and your emotions, both your divinity, identity, and your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. We are conditioned to believe that either we are not worthy of it, or we have to choose either or. It's an either or proposition. And that's simply a falsehood. And so what Pachamama energy does is it allows us to express gratitude for the eternal grace and mercy of the truth of our divinity. And in doing so, we activate the experience of that divinity in our lives. And that's why your soul wants to look at pulling up some of these roots, these toxic roots, with this root chakra card ruled by Saturn. Saturn is in K2, the south node right now, in Sagittarius, your second house. And so you might, with this throat chakra, some of you just generally be having some challenges communicating in general, but specifically as it relates to this, there may be either on one end of the continuum, just loquaciousness, just kind of gossip mongering and kind of talking about the MDT circumstances, whether it be actually directly with your mother or your home environment or your work environment that are just replications of your relationship with your mother, or kind of denials of it. In many cases, where we try to deny MDT and we create a whole different dynamic, because she's shown us what we don't want to be. And so we can do that as well. But most people just replicate the same type of relationship dynamic over and over again throughout our lives. And there can be a lot of talking about that, because what we're really trying to do is resolve it with this Saturn and K2 in the second house. Or there can just be, just generally, when you're trying to talk in general, just a sense of having an impediment to getting to what you mean and for people to understand you. And this is why Pachamama's showing up as well. It's just taking a break, going outside, taking a breather, kind of getting yourself together and grounding yourself in this divinity. It's a practice. It's a practice. And it does eventually smooth itself out the more that you take your power back from each situation that makes you feel other than divine. You empower yourself with that self-healing and healing of others, that ability to do that which you desire. Now, how your soul wants to do this work is by making sure that you act on this message. This is the double yang, third quarter moon card, the Mother Mary card, Law of Divine Father. It's all about acting on what Great Mother has downloaded to you, either through your own intuition or through the signs and symbols of your everyday life. What is being illuminated for you this full moon, and with Jupiter going direct in your first house, and there being just a general new sense of self as it relates to your health. There may be some, personal difficulties, but it's not, in many cases, it's a relief. It's like giving you permission to let go of things. Like if things have gotten too intense with your mother, for example, and you can see the writing on the wall, it's not going to get any better no matter what you do. It's kind of a relief to you in realizing finally, okay, this is where I exit stage left. This is until, some things shift. Acting on that awareness is how your soul wants to move forward from the crossroads of this full moon. And by doing that, your outcome is Tara centering this waning gibbous energy that you have here from the third eye, body, mind, and soul, clicking the heels 3 times back home to peace. There is home on the other side of these eclipses and retrogrades for you. And so that is with this full moon or with next month's full moon as Saturn goes direct. So this is Great Mother's message for you, this Aquarius full moon in your 4th house of the Mother, illuminating the power that you have to own your divinity and your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. That's 3 clicks too, with centering there. Breathing it in, living it, and acting on the awareness. Thanks so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all, and most of all, Scorpio moon sign people, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Moon, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Atar, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother.
Great Mother speaks to us in raw, realistic, and righteousness. Great Mother speaks to those of us who are most alienated.